Have you ever encountered someone whose ego seemed to grow every time they walked into the room? Someone who always needed to be the center of attention, whose manipulation tactics left you emotionally drained and confused. If you've ever found yourself caught in the web of a narcissist, you know just how damaging it can be to your mental and emotional well-being. But what if I told you that there is a strategy, a divine approach, that can dismantle their manipulative control over you and give you the peace and freedom you deserve? Stay with me, because today, I'm going to share with you the one strategy you need to defeat a narcissist, and it's rooted in something far more powerful than you might imagine. Before you dismiss this as just another quick fix or feel-good advice, let me assure you that this strategy is grounded in solid psychological insight, but it's also something that goes beyond mere tactics. It reaches into the deeper aspects of human nature, spirituality, and even divine strength. You might be wondering, what does spirituality have to do with dealing with a narcissist? Well, let me explain how applying inner peace, forgiveness, and strength from a higher source can shift the balance of power in your life. To understand the power of this approach, let's first take a step back. Narcissism is one of the most complex and damaging personality traits you can encounter. Narcissists often come across as charming, confident, and have an inflated sense of self-worth. But beneath the surface, they are driven by deep insecurity, a constant need for validation, and an inability to empathize with others. Their manipulation tactics can leave you feeling powerless, confused, and isolated. However, there is a secret weapon, a divine weapon, that can put an end to this cycle and break free from their control. The key to defeating a narcissist lies in reclaiming your inner peace and power. When you stop feeding into their need for validation and refuse to be manipulated by their tactics, you shift the power dynamic. Narcissists thrive on controlling others by making them feel small or inferior. But when you find your own inner strength, whether through spiritual practices, self-reflection, or connecting to a higher source, you can build a shield that protects you from their influence. This inner peace allows you to remain grounded, no matter how chaotic or disruptive the narcissist's behavior may be. Forgiveness is another powerful tool in dismantling the narcissist's grip on your life. This doesn't mean excusing their behavior, but rather releasing the emotional hold they have over you. By forgiving, you free yourself from the cycle of resentment and anger that keeps you tied to their manipulation. Spirituality teaches us that forgiveness is not just for the other person, but for our own peace of mind. When you let go of the anger and hurt, you create space for healing and empowerment, which diminishes the narcissist's ability to control you. It's important to remember that this strategy isn't about fighting fire with fire or trying to match the narcissist's behavior. It's about rising above the conflict and refusing to let their actions dictate your emotional state. When you tap into the divine strength within you, whether through faith, meditation, or other practices, you cultivate resilience and clarity. This new perspective allows you to protect yourself, set boundaries, and ultimately reclaim control over your life, freeing you from the destructive influence of the narcissist. I know what you're thinking right now. What is this divine strategy, and how can it help me when I feel so emotionally trapped? Well, the answer lies in the power of detachment. But not just any kind of detachment. This is spiritual detachment. It's about releasing the emotional grip that narcissists have on you and reconnecting with your true, authentic self. It's about refusing to let their behavior dictate how you feel, think, or react. At first glance, it may seem counterintuitive to think that detachment from the narcissist is the key to defeating them. After all, shouldn't you stand up to them, call them out on their behavior, or confront them head-on? In many cases, yes, but the problem is narcissists thrive on conflict, drama, and attention. They feed off the emotional responses of others, and any reaction from you, whether positive or negative, is something they can manipulate to maintain control. The key to breaking free is to stop playing the game. When you stop reacting, when you stop giving them the emotional supply they crave, their power over you begins to diminish. And here's where the divine part comes in. Detaching from a narcissist doesn't mean you become cold, indifferent, or vengeful. Instead, it means you tap into a higher source of strength, compassion, and peace that allows you to rise above the toxic dynamics at play. Now let's talk about how this divine detachment works. To truly free yourself from a narcissist, you need to recognize that their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. This is crucial. Narcissists are experts at making you feel small, insignificant, and unworthy. They manipulate your emotions and make you question your own reality. But when you start to detach, you begin to see them for who they truly are. Someone driven by insecurity, manipulation, and a need for control. And that's where the divine strength comes into play, recognizing that your self-worth is not dependent on their approval. To practice this divine detachment, you must reconnect with your own sense of self and the higher principles that guide you. This could mean leaning into your faith, spirituality, or simply the deeper understanding that you are more than the narcissist's manipulation. When you focus on what truly matters to you, your values, your peace, and your inner strength, you create a shield that narcissists cannot penetrate. It's not about fighting them on their terms. It's about rising above them, unaffected by their tactics. But what does this look like in real-life situations? It means refusing to engage in their games. When a narcissist tries to provoke you, bait you into an argument, or play on your emotions, you remain calm, collected, and indifferent. You don't need to retaliate or defend yourself. In fact, the less you react, the more you take away their power. By maintaining your composure, you show the narcissist that they no longer have control over you. This strategy also involves setting firm boundaries. Narcissists are notorious for overstepping boundaries, pushing people to their limits, and demanding more than what is reasonable. When you detach, you can more easily assert your boundaries and stand firm in your decisions. And while the narcissist may try to push back, your divine detachment gives you the strength to hold your ground without falling into their emotional traps. One of the most empowering aspects of this strategy is the peace it brings. When you stop letting the narcissist dictate your emotions and reactions, you reclaim your peace. You stop the cycle of drama and manipulation and start living life on your terms. This is where the divine power truly shows its effectiveness. It doesn't require force, anger, or confrontation. It simply requires you to connect with a deeper sense of peace and wisdom that transcends the narcissist's behavior. But let's be real, it's not always easy. The narcissist will likely continue to push, provoke, and attempt to re-establish control. They will challenge your boundaries, test your limits, and try to provoke an emotional response. But this is where the divine detachment strategy truly becomes powerful. It's about standing firm in your own power, knowing that the narcissist's manipulation no longer has a hold on you. And when you begin to detach emotionally, you'll notice that the narcissist's efforts to provoke you become less effective over time. Ultimately, the divine strategy is about reclaiming your inner peace and control. It's about refusing to give in to the toxic energy of the narcissist, and instead focusing on the things that truly matter, your happiness, your self-worth, and your peace of mind. And once you've mastered this divine detachment, you'll find that the narcissist's influence over you weakens, and you can finally move on to a healthier, more fulfilling life. So the next time you encounter a narcissist or feel trapped in their manipulative behavior, remember this strategy. Detach with love, maintain your boundaries, and reconnect with your divine strength. You'll be amazed at how powerful this approach can be. And the best part, it doesn't require any confrontation or fighting. It simply requires you to rise above their tactics and remain true to yourself. Thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with others who might need to hear this message. We all deserve to live free from the control of narcissists, and with this divine strategy, you have the tools to do just that. Stay strong, stay peaceful, and remember, you have the power to overcome.